As you can see here, I've gone ahead and continued from where I last left off, and I completely filled in my 10 by 10 space, so it's not just this blank artboard anymore, but I've got these symbols here everywhere. And they're kind of telling a story. There's a circular motion going on here and some movement that's going to the bottom to the left or up and to the right, depending on how you're looking at it. But that's just how my symbols are sitting on the page. Yours may tell a different story as you're putting them on the page. You'll notice I'm taking this symbol here and building up the darker parts to make this sort of wave, if you will. Turn that off, going this way. And then I have the white symbols, or the symbol darker with the white in it, creating these shapes here. Now this is the reason why I've got some overlap. That's the reason why we have the artboards 5 inches apart, so this overlap isn't bleeding onto this artboard. But something that I do that helps me see the 10 by 10 artboard is that I went ahead and made myself a mask. I'm going to turn that on, and I can see my composition a lot easier. I'll show later how to make that mask. And if we look in a little bit closer, we can see the cube here. I have one cube regular, and I took one and inverted it, and I'll show how to do that. And this just further promotes equilibrium and balance and weight within the composition. Now you'll notice that this cube bleeds off the page. Like if I hold my mouse right there, you can see the part of it that's bleeding off the page, so I'm not trapping any white space. And right here I've got, there we go. You can see where the blue line where I have part of the cube covered with the symbols, and that's okay too. You should do that. That's so the cube won't look like it's just kerplunked on top of a bunch of symbols. It'll look like it's actually interacting and blending in with the background. Also, when you put this thing together, be on the lookout for trapped white space like this right here. And that's an easy fix. I'm going to take this one symbol here and I can move it down. We've gotten rid of that trapped white space there, and it lets the dark, I'm going to lock this for a second. It's going to let this darker space sort of flow right here. And right here I've got some trapped white space. I can open up some more of these white parts here to make this white space move around a little bit better, or cover this up with a darker piece, let the dark spots move a little bit easier. That's a decision I would have to make. Same thing up here. Not so much here because the white space is moving and the black space is moving out. So please keep that in mind. Alright, so before I show how to make the mask and before I show you how to invert this, we're going to take a closer look at our symbols. You can see here that there are white lines and black lines that outline the symbols. We don't want to be able to see that. Sometimes they'll show at a distance no matter what, but if I zoom in close and still see them, then I'll need to go ahead and fix that. So let's zoom in. I'm going to zoom in way close. And if these lines disappeared up close, then it's fine. But since they did not disappear, we're going to have to get rid of those. So let me zoom out. Turn my mask off. And I'm going to have to fix these two symbols here. So what's going on with this symbol is that this white piece in the background is slightly bigger than the black, and then just the opposite here. So we're going to go to the symbols palette. We're going to find that symbol, and here they both are. I'm going to double click on this one. Now this brings me into the edit mode. I'm going to grab my direct select tool. There's a few things when you're in the edit mode. Do not move the symbol. Let me show you what happens if you move your symbol. So I'm going to take the symbol and I'm just going to move that. Okay? I'm going to get out of the edit mode. It's going to change all the other symbols, because I changed it in the symbol palette. Let's take a couple of steps back. Okay, so that's back where it needs to be. I'm going to zoom out, and everything is back fixed. So whatever you move here will move everywhere else, because all those symbols are still linked to this symbol. You can kind of see that outline there. What I'm going to do is I'm going to click and find the background. So my background here is black. I'm going to go to Properties, and I can see that my background here is 2 inches by 2 inches, which is where I set it. That's fine. But I want to make my background slightly smaller than my foreground, so I get rid of those black lines here. And before I do that, I'm going to change the maintain width and height proportions. Right now they're not constrained because of this line going through here. I'm going to click on that, so now they're linked together. So if I change this one's going to change also. And I'm going to change this to 1.995, and that makes it ever so much smaller than 2 inches. That it'll get rid of our outlines. And you can see that's disappeared. So let's go check out here, and here we can see no black outlines. All that white space is flowing together. We can still see the opposite on the other one. So I'm going to double click on it. Go to Properties, grab make sure we're grabbing our background. The background here is white this time. And I'm going to change that to 1.995. And that'll get rid of our white outlines here once we go back. So let's take a look. You'll see all those black spaces now flow together rather nicely. So I'm going to zoom out. Now you may notice you can see those outlines when you're out far away. That's okay. If you see them far away, it's when you get in close. If you still see them, then we still have a problem. So let's zoom in really close here. We can see those disappear as we're going forward and back. So once we come in close, we don't see those lines, so they are gone, even though we see them when we zoom out. So long as they're gone when you're up close, you're fine. Okay, so as promised, I'm going to show you real quick how to invert the cube, which is easy, same thing you did here. So let's first unlock layer 1 here. I'm going to get rid of this one, and I'm going to duplicate it. And to invert it, I'm going to go Object, Edit Colors, Invert Colors like so. And that just swaps them for me. And that's okay to do. Okay, next, how do you make a mask? So this mask here I made is pretty big. Oops, there we go. I'm going to move this out of the way up here. And I'm going to need two squares. So I'm going to grab my rectangle tool, and I'm just going to click anywhere on the screen. And the first mask, or the first square I'm going to make is going to be 15 inches by 15 inches. And then I'm going to grab my rectangle tool again, click again, and make the second one 10 inches by 10 inches. Then I'm going to align those two, and make sure you draw the bigger one first, the smaller one second, otherwise it'll give you problems, and it's just easier making the bigger one first. So I'm going to select both of these things. I'm going to align them center. So the smaller one's in the center of the bigger one. And grab my Pathfinder tool, I'm going to minus the front. And that punches a hole in the middle here for me, so now I've got this frame. And while I've got it selected, I'm going to grab my eyedropper tool, and I'm just going to click on this gray out here. And that's going to change it into that background color. Again, you don't have to do this. I just do this because it's easier for me to see the 10 by 10 without all this overlap coming on the outside. So then I can take this and put it right on top of my artboard. There we go. So now I can see that just fine. And you'll notice it doesn't go overlapping into this one, so I can take this one and copy it and paste it over here. But you do want it in its own layer so you can turn it off and on without interrupting anything else. And remember to save and save often. So the next thing that you're going to do is you're going to make 3 compositions using the different sets of symbols that you've picked out. I'll open up a blog where you can upload these so I can take a look at them and your fellow students can give feedback. That'll be opened up. I'll get that opened up later on today, this evening. Alright, and if you have any questions, don't hesitate to send me an email, or you can put it on the question blog on the Blackboard site.